3 hours again, and I'm not sure I was looking forward to this Raw that much, to be honest with you.
Sadly, that might be the case because with Raw it has its good points, but then obviously by the third hour. British Biz continue to warn your worthless mortal that I have a YouTube. And what I'll say now is that I have a video coming up that will take someone down. Beware of the rope show.
What does he mean off the rope show?
Why attack them?
What the hell's going on with him?
What have they done? We better warn them as soon as possible.
Oh yeah, we should. Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Raw review of us, the British Fist.
Catching!
Mr. Parkin here in my new blue t-shirt, and this guy sitting next to me in his same old green t-shirt is none other than Mr. NJ himself.
What's up?
What's up indeed. Subscribe above, like this video, comment any thoughts you have on this show down in that comment section below. You pretty much knew what NJ said anyway there. I mean, the sound muted for a little bit there, didn't it, NJ? It wasn't just you mouthing, was it? No, are you going to be muted throughout the whole review or something now? Yeah, interesting that Terminator NJ's mentioned off the rope show before the review tonight. What the fuck's going on there?
As we've said in other reviews, we do not employ him to do stuff like this.
No.
Now he's attacking one of our friends, so
yeah.
we'll just have to see what he has to do and see how that turns out.
I mean, this had nothing to do with us. We're friends of Off the Road Show. We don't know what the hell Terminator NJ is doing. We can't control the guy right now, unfortunately, so I don't know. And also, we do want to put this out there. We're not going to be doing a topical video this week. Instead, we're going to be switching the Q&A to this Wednesday. And on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, we will be doing a live stream. It will go from 10 PM GMT up until probably midnight GMT. It will start at 5 PM Central for you Americans and 4 PM for Pacific for about 2 hours. And we're going to focus this live stream on Bound for Glory 2012. So we do implore you guys to come along to this live stream, ask us your questions, you know, give us some thought-provoking responses, and the live stream should be a lot of fun tomorrow night.
It should be, and this could be a one-off thing, because we would have done Hell in a Cell, but that's still 5 weeks away, WWE.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, look forward to the live stream. Terminator NJ, who knows what the fuck is going to go on with him now. He's just running the shot. Should we just get down to this Raw, NJ?
We should do.
We open up with CM Punk and Paul Heyman in the middle of the ring. No entrances this week. And Paul Heyman says that Raw will not start until justice is made from last week when John Cena won because CM Punk's foot was on the rope.
This was quite cleverly done. We always expected something was going to follow on it, just because the way that Raw finished last week was kind of randomly done and just quickly following on from the pay-per-view. So now we knew the opener, or sometime this show, was going to have a follow-on from how bad that referee treated CM Punk.
Brad Maddox, man. Brad Maddox is awesome. I don't know why you're saying he's a bad referee. He just made one tiny error. I mean, he invites Brad Maddox out to the ring to admit his mistake. He admits his mistake. Heyman wants Maddox to resign, and as an up-and-coming wrestler/referee, why would you resign in that position? But Punk soon jumped out of his chair to give him a grilling, didn't he? Right in his face, like, I don't care who you are. I demand respect. What's your name again? Brad Maddox? Or Mad Braddocks?
The thing about this is that the way that Heyman was on the mic, I really enjoyed that. CM Punk on the mic, really enjoyed that. And the referee just stood there and took it all. This was definitely great mic work, getting a lot of heel heat on a referee who you're meant to respect. And because they don't want to stand there and do their job, obviously. In the heel's eyes, they did fail, but he didn't do his job right.
Yeah, and to be honest, CM Punk throughout the night was really healing it up quite well, and I think they need to do this as much as they can, have him interact with the crowd and stuff. They did that very well throughout the night. It's one of the best ways you can get heel heat on a guy, by dipping the hometown and stuff like that. We then get AJ Lee coming out, skipping to the savior of Brad Maddox, defending her show, and we get reminded of that previous terrible storyline that they had before. And then Heyman proposes to AJ.
The thing about this, the thing I like about Punk is after watching that video package and how she was dying of love, you saw the face of CM Punk going,
Yeah, I know.
Really enjoying it, really saying that didn't really work out who did it. And then it went on to, yes, Heyman proposing. I thought the way he was doing it, yes, they failed to make Heyman take over the WWE with the Triple H and Brock Lesnar storyline. So I thought, okay, this is going to be another way, even though it's not as good as the Brock Lesnar way it could have been. This was quite random, but it didn't work out for Heyman or Punk.
Even Paul Heyman is after my girl. What the hell is going on right now? Everyone wants a piece of AJ, but who can blame them when AJ's in that hot schoolgirl outfit, pretty much? Whoa. Should we move on? I didn't really know what to think of this opening segment, to be honest with you.
I'll say this. Throughout the night, I'm going to say this multiple times, CM Punk was very entertaining.
Yeah, definitely healed it up brilliantly tonight. In our second segment of the evening, we had Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston. This was all because of what? A war on Twitter and the amount of matches these two have had before. I was kind of like, oh, okay. Before the match even gets started, though, Vicky Guerrero gets a soaking from R-Truth and they both get sent to the back. Okay. And Ziggler wins what was a very good competitive 11-minute match. These two have very good in-ring chemistry. I do just wonder, though, when Ziggler is the Money in the Bank winner, should he be having this competitive of a match with a guy like Kofi Kingston, who's essentially undercard right now?
Well, following the entertaining opener between Vicky Guerrero and R-Truth, very entertaining fun. I thought it was funny. The match, again, was very entertaining. They give it really good. You do expect it from Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. Two good performers in the ring against each other. But the sad thing is, yes, Dolph Ziggler can perform great against the main events or the higher upper wrestlers, but he doesn't get the win like he can over Kofi Kingston, which I think is a bit of a shame. But I still say it was a good match to watch.
I wonder what they're going to do with Dolph Ziggler now going into Hell in a Cell. Are they going to give him a feud or what? I mean, I don't really know. I mean, they've got to give the Money in the Bank winner something. Maybe they'll have him cash it in at Hell in a Cell. Who really knows? Zack Ryder and Santino versus Primetime Players was next. Question. If Primetime Players are going to go over here, why didn't they get their entrance shown? I just don't understand that.
Again, you still shouldn't. The dude doesn't really care about them.
Titus gets the win on Santino. Next.
Even though it did show Santino and Ryder, who's been an old tag team in the past, that quickly died quickly. So they didn't really have enough tag teams to fill this slot in, even though there's Primo, Epico and all the Usos that could have been in here. But it was something different, and it gave Santino TV time, and I guess Ryder fans got to see Ryder. I'm
surprised they didn't have Primetime Players and Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio interact in this show after what happened on last week's Raw when the Primetime Players took them out. Just a thing there, really. In our main event of the evening, we had special guests. Yes, that's right. Special guests Mick Foley and CM Punk in the segment together. And I got to tell you, the back and forth between Mick Foley and CM Punk was awesome. So many great things about this segment. So many great things were said about CM Punk and defining moments. I personally think this is one of the best segments of the year in my eyes.
I definitely enjoyed this, but when it comes to Mick Foley, instead of doing some comedy sketches, he actually brings out his truth and that. Yes, CM Punk digs him in, saying another children's book, which I thought was a bit of a funny segment there, but as I said, CM Punk was great tonight. Mick Foley just says how the way that CM Punk used to be to how he is now is not the way he should be. And this really brings up more from Punk. So as the segment went on, it just kept getting better and better and better. I did feel there was going to be a match from this, but instead, this segment gave me enough of what I wanted to see.
Yeah, there shouldn't really be in a match. But the best thing about this segment for me was when Foley talked about you have to earn your respect, you shouldn't demand respect. And he talked about defining moments in your career and that CM Punk needed another one. And I think that is very true. And he also said that later on in the night he would make the decision whether or not he would face John Cena at Hell in a Cell, which never really came to a standstill. But a really, really good back and forth segment between these two. I'd rank that amongst one of the best segments on Raw this year, personally.
I do agree. It did went down really well, and exactly, Punk needs things like this in the ring with big guys and that. Mick Foley being one of them. But I think that Mick Foley, hopefully, fingers crossed, he does tease to earn your respect. You have to have big moments of greatness. It is teasing the whole Rock thing. Possibly. The Royal Rumble is okay, but I think towards WrestleMania.
Ryback versus Miz was next up. Were you surprised that with zero hype they gave this away on free TV, considering it looked like they were going to build a feud between the two? Did that surprise you slightly?
Well, with Ryback, being the guy that people are expecting to see more, Vince says he's going to be a main eventer. I did want him to have a run against The Miz, and I think having a one-off, maybe a one-off, you don't know what they're going to do from here, TV, I was a bit disappointed, so I'm hoping they do stick to this a bit more than just this one-off, because Booker T teased it as, right, I've got you someone to face, so that's going to, he teased it, there could be a feud there, so if they make it a one-off thing, and that's it, I wouldn't be happy with that.
And to be honest with you, people will probably say, oh, why did Miz lose in 3 minutes? Well, unfortunately for you Miz fans out there, Ryback is going to be a main eventer somewhere down the line, and WWE need to give him these dominant victories. I'd have liked to have seen a few, but if they were going to end it here, they might as well have had Ryback looking as dominant as possible, because I mean, if they're going to push him to the top, this is kind of how they have to do it. They can't just have him go out there and have a 10-minute match with The Miz. I mean, it just wouldn't work for his physique.
I do think that Miz should be putting on longer than 3-minute matches. I will say that, especially against Ryback, to give some. It looks like Ryback is facing a challenger instead of just a weakened down opponent. So I think 3 minutes is a bit short. I'm going to say that.
I wonder what they're going to do with Ryback next. They give some pretty strong teasers on this week's edition of Raw, but I do wonder where they're going to go next with Ryback, considering Vince McMahon apparently has now really unleashed Ryback in terms of not in squash matches anymore. He's actually going to be involved in feuds. I would still like to see Ryback versus Big Show down the line, personally.
For now, I would have stuck with The Miz, but they're going to screw that idea, which I thought would have been really good. I think Big Show would be the next direction.
Especially seeing as Miz is a good talker, and so he could do most of the talking in the feud as well. I mean, it would have helped it. Do you also notice the fan running in the ring?
Well, WWE are all about fan interaction, and that was a perfect moment.
Come in the ring and have a match. You can come in the ring and get squashed by Ryback.
Pretty much, that was very good. WWE.
I have a question for that fan. I question that fan's logic.
What's your name?
Yeah, exactly. Not just that, but why would you go in the ring in a Ryback match? I'm just saying. Wade Barrett versus Tyson Kidd. How much have they fucked up Wade Barrett's return, NJ?
Like I've said many times, I'm going to keep saying this. Wade Barrett was a guy who still is, but maybe they're trying to weaken that thought, is I look out for. And the fact they're putting him week after week after week after wrestlers that should not be at his level. Even though there are many people who support Tyson Kidd, he is not at Wade Barrett's level. So this match was pretty disappointing to see.
I mean, he beat him in 2.5 minutes, which is the right amount of time, and it was better than that stupid long competitive match they had him with Justin Gabriel last week. But what? Firstly, right? He's a bare-knuckle fighter, so why has he stolen Cassius Ohno's elbow finisher? Secondly, why is his finisher called the Souvenir? Who the fuck backstage thought of that stupid finisher name?
A little present there, you know.
Fuck, the Souvenir, is that the best you can come up with, WWE? Fuck that shit, man. Wade Barrett's return, they brought him back to be one of the most irrelevant returns of all freaking time, the way they've been doing this. After that, we had the interview segment with Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole. Very good to see Jerry Lawler doing well, and it was said a lot. I mean, he was a 1 in 260 chance of staying alive or something. Was there? So
it's pretty sad to hear. But the thing is, there's two things I want to say about this. One's a bit negative, but one makes it positive. Negative is that even though Michael Cole is the ex-journal and all that stuff that he's done, he was the right person. But Jim Ross, being long-term friends with Lawler, I think it would have been good if Jim Ross had more of a say towards Lawler. But going past that, this segment, the way that Cole was speaking to him and presented Lawler, kept getting the crowd going. I think it was very nicely done towards King's Heart. And it's nice to see that WWE including this on their primetime show with regards how serious the situation was. So I enjoyed the interview. I liked seeing the fact that Jerry the King Lawler's okay. He even has a throne in his house, and rightfully so, he'll be back when the doctors tell him that he can be back as well. So that was a nice update on a guy like Jerry Lawler. They followed it up, though, with Del Rio, Otunga, Ricardo Rodriguez versus Sheamus, Sin Cara, and Rey Mysterio. The thing I want to quickly say is when Ricardo Rodriguez knows he's going to be in the match, he's like, yeah, come on, let's go!
Yeah, come on, I want to prove myself! Ricardo Rodriguez is awesome, man. Interesting that they gave Sin Cara the win here, on Ricardo Rodriguez, of course, but very interesting they gave Sin Cara the victory and not Sheamus, as per usual.
Well, they did set this up quite nice. Like, Rey Mysterio was helping Sin Cara. The way they teased still the whole Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara teaming up, helping each other throughout the match, and leading to Sin Cara getting the win. They're actually trying to use the big guys to do more for Sin Cara, and if they continue doing that, maybe WWE can get their match at WrestleMania between Rey and Sin Cara. Which
will essentially be the case from this whole thing, the tag team thing. Why end it with a bro kick to Otunga, though? I guess I don't really care about Otunga, so it doesn't really matter to me. The anger management stuff this week. Oh, God. If you're a Kane fan, like this guy here, you probably didn't enjoy these segments, but I fucking well enjoyed these segments. They're in a diner, and Kane is called Gerald. He is a waiter. They're working out their differences over dinner. They're eating each other's food. They burp. They puke. This was... I know it was PG and I know it was silly, but this was entertaining like fucking hell.
The thing is, as much as Kane, when he was coming out and was saying like how you heard him talk like a heel, talk like a monster at the beginning. That was good and all. But the second segment or third, when they died, he was like, I'm like,
was that like a Harry Met Sally reference or something like that?
I don't know what it was, but it went really weird for Kane to be doing this, and it got weird. But all I can say is that from this Dynamite segment, which we do like, outside the arena stuff, so I give props for that. But then they had the whole Twitter voting thing.
They had the whole Twitter voting thing. As much as I don't like Twitter voting, it's Team Hell No. But the point of the segment was, you had Rhodes and Sandow come out and attack them from behind after what happened on SmackDown. They're called Team Rhodes Scholars. Two of my favourite superstars are tag teaming together, and they're called Team Rhodes Scholars, which is an awesome tag team name in my opinion. So it looks like after all those anger management segments, which, let's face it, the fact that Kane's in them is what makes these so funny. If it was just a normal superstar, it wouldn't be that funny. But there's a tag team feud here. Rhodes and Sandow versus Kane and Daniel Bryan. That could be definitely an interesting tag team feud.
What I'll say is that I agree with Cody Rhodes when he says proper tag team names, because the thing is, they don't get to pick their own. They're not really strong names like Nexus, Legacy, DX. They
Encore.
You say there's so many stupid names, they can't keep them genetic or big standout names. So that's proving that this is going to be a short-term thing. But the segment overall, it does continue this feud that we're getting, which should be good and do something big for the tag team titles.
I love this anger management feud. I can't wait to see the pay-per-view match between these four guys. It would be pretty good. We had a Divas segment next. Layla and Alicia Fox versus Eve Torres and Beth Phoenix. Two things here. Wasn't Alicia Fox just heel? And secondly, didn't Eve just beat Beth Phoenix very quickly? Eve gets the pin on Alicia Fox. Caitlyn gets on the mic afterwards and says the attacker was blonde. So Eve takes out Beth Phoenix, and it seems like now Beth Phoenix is leaving WWE, that this is probably going to be the way they write her off TV, maybe? I don't know, and I guess you don't have anything to say about this, so we'll just move on.
Is that WWE doing this to Beth Phoenix, again, I'm going to say this many times, I may do a video just because I think Beth Phoenix, or she is my favourite diva in the WWE and has been for quite a long time, probably Mickey James, and I think this is really dreadful that Beth Phoenix is deciding to do this, even if reports are saying, we're leaving on good terms.
I can't blame her, though, to be honest with you. Why would you want to be part of the company that looks at Divas wrestling like that, especially when you're a talent like Beth Phoenix? Look at Karma. They released Karma. I mean, the Divas division is dead, unfortunately. Funkasaurus versus Tensai. You know what? When I saw this match, I was actually looking forward to seeing this match because I felt this could be a good match. But then we have Big Show coming out and returning after about a minute, knocking Tensai and Brodus Clay out. Slater's faction was nowhere to be seen. Encore.
I guess this is better than when Big Show comes out. Last time he squashed the tag team division. Yeah. This time he's squashing two bigger guys, so it makes sense. But the WWE are good. I mean, big guy versus big guy versus big guy. And it looks like this is not going to be a pay-per-view match. Not at all. Not even worthy of pay-per-view. This is probably going to get done next Raw. But before I get to that triple threat that could happen down the line, somehow for what Big Show did right here, he gets a match against Orton, somehow.
I don't know. I will say this, though. I will campaign very heavily for a Big Show Sheamus feud. And if you want to know why, I'll do a video on my channel at some point as to why, because I think that could be a very good feud for Sheamus. Sheamus versus Big Show needs to happen for the World Heavyweight Championship, in my opinion. Well, Big Show versus Ryback could also be a very interesting feud. Yeah, that should happen at WrestleMania, in my opinion. So then we get to our main event of the evening.
Yes.
John Cena, even though he's injured, is generally the main event. I mean, you could say that, but you had Punk in 3 segments throughout the night, so you can't really complain too much about that. Cena comes out as if he's kind of going to retire because of the injury.
We all know he's good at retiring.
Yeah, but he will be at Hell in a Cell, so... How could it? He has to be at Hell in a Cell, NJ. He's facing CM Punk for the WWE Championship, of course. But we get CM Punk coming out saying that Cena should be a politician and that he will hurt him at Hell in a Cell. And with one arm, Cena floors Punk with a lead pipe. Yeah, great booking there, WWE. Yeah!
The thing about this is that throughout the night, Punk was booked really strong. Even turned his back to Cena. Great heel tactic. When he turns around, Cena's like, he says, what? And just smacks Punk down. I thought, that's a stupid way to end the show. Because again, same old booking for Cena. He's still overpowering Punk. Still finishing the night off. But then luckily, we get a backstage segment concerning Punk, Mick Foley, and question mark.
Yeah, we had Punk going backstage, taking his frustration out on Mick Foley with, I guess, one kick to the gut. And then we get this spin where Punk is like kind of looking scared. And then the camera turns around. We're thinking probably The Rock. And it's Ryback. What a very strange way to end the show, but
Skip Sheffield, not Ryback, Dan.
What are you talking about? His name's Ryback.
Skip Sheffield.
Skip Sheffield, Ryback. It doesn't really make
Sheffield.
a fucking difference. He can wear a cowboy hat for all I care, like he did in NXT. But Ryback appears out of nowhere and has that little face-off with Punk to end the show. I'm like, shit, I didn't expect this. It was a very strange way to open the show, and definitely a very strange way to end the show. What did you think?
Well, again, I'm sticking to Ryback, Miz, even though they keep saying, oh, Vince is really high and wants to push him to the top. Yeah. I'm thinking, Punk wrapped up in the main event with Cena, Rock, and that's him sorted for a while. Ryback, don't push him there just yet, not when he hasn't had a mid-card run. So if they are going to put him against Punk because Cena's injured, I don't know when I'm going to be back properly, and that ball that he was giving us in the main event. Ryback might be the replacement for a temporary, but I don't want to see it, not yet. Miz all the way. So to finish that, I think it was really random, and I think they could be rushing it a bit.
Possibly so. I think they're just trying to get Ryback out there just to say, you know, this is the guy that we think could be the main eventer in the future. This is an important guy. We're going to end it on this guy, even though he hasn't really been built up properly yet. But he will be a main eventer in the future. We know that because Vince loves him. But it seems like Cena and Punk is going to be again the main event at Hell in a Cell. And I think it will be, especially after their great match at Night of Champions, I question what will they do differently. Because they had a great match at Night of Champions. They had a great match at Money in the Bank. They had a decent match at SummerSlam. But what are they going to do new? I guess that is my only question about this Cena CM Punk, because we've seen it a lot now.
The new thing is exactly what Punk said at Hell in a Cell. Cena will get hurt. There we go.
I guess so, and it'll be in Hell in a Cell. Do you think they'll blow it off there now? They'll probably have Cena win the title, won't they? And then carry on the feud that way. Who really knows? So yeah, that was Raw. What did you think of this Raw overall this week?
Nothing really stood out as like, oh, this is a big Hell in a Cell thing, or this is something.
It's 5 weeks away.
I know, but still they want to be like, sometimes they book the main event of the pay-per-view
Cena Punk.
We can book it up. The thing is that this tease some stuff, entertaining stuff, but nothing like you would say that makes perfect sense. It's only the tag team that's actually starting to go somewhere. The main event between Punk and Cena is interesting, but nothing else really stands out.
My opinion on the 3-hour Raw is still the same. I don't like it, but I will say this Raw was better than the usual quality we get from Raw. I felt this was a pretty good Raw, in my opinion. But the 3 hours still does bring it down a little bit. That's just my personal opinion on that one. Give us your thoughts down in the comment section below what you thought of Raw. And make sure you join us for that live stream tomorrow. It should be very fun. And the Q&A will be uploaded on Wednesday. So make sure you join us tomorrow, 5 PM Central, 4 PM Pacific. And if you're in the UK, 10 PM GMT. So now I will hand you over to NJ to end this review in a very, 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 very great way. No pressure.
As I wrap up, people, let me just ask you this. What do you think of 20 plus reviews? I've got Mr. Parkin and me and Jay. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.